Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. It's Thursday night. And you know what that means? It's WOR, that's World Online Racing. And tonight it's the season finale, ladies and gentlemen, here in Tier 3 console. The Drivers' Championship has been decided, of course, with the fake TB claiming the title last time out at Jeddah. With the chasing pack just not able to overhaul him. He was incredibly consistent throughout the course of the season. And it's been left down to this week to decide who wins the Constructors' title here at Suzuka for round number 11. Let's just take a quick look at some standings then. Just to confirm the drivers' standings, the fake TB dominates this season with 5 race wins, only 1 DNF. And that DNF was the only time, of course, that he didn't finish on the podium in races that he entered. So of the 9 races he's entered, or the 8 races he's entered, 5 wins, a second place and a third place, 1 DNF. Super stuff from the fake TB. But let's take a look at the Constructors then. This is where the interest lies tonight. And we do have a little bit of a surprise in store for you because we've got some Tier 4 drivers taking part again tonight as well. So this is the situation then in the Constructors' battle. We've got Ferrari out in front on 141 points. Closely followed, only a 4-point gap back to McLaren. So Niall Gio and Talentless leading the way then with the final round up for grabs. BRT Crowding and the fake TB then 4 points off. I don't know whether both of those drivers are driving tonight. I know we've definitely got one. We've definitely got one reserve in for BRT Crowding, and it will be Manly. Good Lord. MXNLYKE8. We'll try and figure out what we're going to do to announce his name this evening. But yeah, tonight it's going to be a battle for that Constructors' title. Mercedes could also win the title, and so could Alpine with only 35 points covering those top 4 teams. Favourites have probably got to be Ferrari and McLaren, though, with the gap back in the 30s to both Mercedes and Alpine. So we will find out tonight who our Constructors' champions are. 4 of you watching so far tonight, let me know who you think is going to win the Constructors' title here at Suzuka. Suzuka, of course, in Japan. Japan famous for its uncooked fish. But who's going to demonstrate some raw pace tonight around this circuit of 8? Circuit of 8? 8-shaped circuit, circuit of 8, whatever we want to call it. I was trying to be smart. Maybe I've missed out in my own smartness there. But who's going to be crowned champions? Let's take a look at the track then. Here it is. Only one DRS zone on Suzuka. That is down the start-finish straight, of course, with the detection just leading up to the chicane, the final chicane at the end of 130R. Fantastic track this, down towards turn 1. Super quick corners all the way down through turn 1, turn 2. Then we've got turns 3, 4, 5, 6, and of course 7 through that first sector. Super stuff. Elevation climbing all the way up to the top. Then into turn 8 and 9, the 2 right-handers, before we head towards the hairpin in Sector 2. And then, of course, we head through the end of Sector 2, that is, into Sector 3. And then, of course, we end up turns 13 and 14 into the spoon with that then long run down towards 130R and that final chicane. We are ready to rock and roll. We've got a full driver grid. It's looking tasty. I can't wait, and I know you can't. Let me know in chat if you think now Gio's going to win, fake TB's going to win, or is somebody else going to claim this season finale victory at Suzuka? We're going to head trackside very shortly when I've reactivated the capture card. Always love a deactivated capture card when we're trying to stream. So there you go then. We've got 18 minutes of this short qualifying session to go, and we've got Dettel, Lucas, don't want to get those two mixed up, FGE Jake, Oxku, Ferrari Pro, Yanil, Liam Hardman, Gabadi, Thomas, Manley we're going to call him, Talentless Niall in the 2 Ferraris, The Treat in the Aston Martin, Pedro Breton in the Mercedes, AMS Jelmer in the Red Bull. The Williams of Brent. Oh, my word. Saliardinis in the second Aston Martin. Fake TB, the world champion, in the McLaren. And AMS Wards in the final car, which is a Red Bull. Let's take a quick look then to see what we've got in terms of tyres. Everybody on soft, unsurprisingly. And the first car out we have is it a Williams? It is a Williams. It's Avagabadi heading out then, doing his outlap. What's the strategy then around Suzuka? What do we think the strategy is, and what kind of setup would you be running if you were racing in this tier tonight then? That's the big question. We don't need the tyre info because everybody is on the soft compound tyre in this qualification session. 16.5 minutes left to go. 9 people in the chat. Say hi if you're in. Please say hello if you're in. Let us know you're watching. WOR, of course, please feel free to hit the like button for the stream. That would help massively push it out to the millions of people currently tuning in to YouTube. And of course, if you're yet to subscribe to World Online Racing, please feel free to hit that subscribe button. It is, of course, free. That doesn't cost you anything to help support this wonderful community that we've got over here at WOR. Right then, we're coming down to the final chicane, trying to get a little bit of heat into the tyres is the Williams of Avagabadi. In he comes then. Let's jump on board then as he exits the chicane to start his very first hot lap run. The Williams will have its rear wing wide open then. This long run down towards turn 1, down towards the lowest part of the track. You can hit that throttle pretty hard into turn 1 and 2. Navigates that pretty well, it felt like. Just about keeps it valid. Into turns 3 and 4. Gets a little bit sketchy, and that will be his lap done and dusted. He's got a McLaren close behind him. That's going to be Manley that we decided to call him Manley, didn't we? Because the MX, we don't know what it was producing. We'll get towards the end of sector 1 and see what this first split time is. It's going to be a 31.6. Rides plenty of curb. Has to come off the throttle a little bit going through turns 8 and 9. Down towards the hairpin, end of sector 2. Begging one's pardon. End of sector 2 will be after the spoon, of course. Anybody would know I knew what I was doing. Anyhow, we live and learn. Into spoon, then navigates it in 6th gear, down to 5th for the second half of it. Turns 13, 14, then down the hill we go. Down through the crest, up towards, down through the dip, up towards the crest in the end of sector 2. That'll be a 110.8 into 130R. Plenty of curb on the left. You can see the grass on the tyres then. Into the final chicane, rides plenty of curb then. I think this is a tier 4, one of the tier 4 guys, don't recall the name. The first lap we've got on the board is a 127.4, and there's a whole host of cars coming through now to finish their laps. The treat 127.5. Here comes OVL Lucas. Shown good pace the last few weeks, Lucas. He's going to be slower though. He's going to be a 128.2 for him. Dettel, in the meantime, sets a 127.8. Talentless comes through with a 128.5. Liam Harmon with a 28 flat. Yelmer with a 28.5. Who else have we got? We've got an Aston Martin. That must be Salianas with a 28.4 for him. Let's have a check-in with our world champion, shall we? Because he's going to come up towards the end of sector 2 now. The 111.1. So not as quick as I was expecting him to be. Looks like he may well have dipped out of this hot lap. There's now Gio, who was challenging for the title up until 2 weeks before the end of the season, goes 300s quicker. Here comes Fake TB, 4th fastest, 3/10 behind Niall Gio. The second McLaren is on its way back in. We've got an Aston Martin making its way around. I think the only guy perhaps on a hot lap right now is Wards. Well, let's jump on board with Wards. He'll get a distant tow from that Aston Martin and McLaren out in front. Hopefully no interference by the McLaren as the other car passes. He is ghosted, so he won't cause too many problems. I missed the cut, but that's a nice turn into the chicane there. Oh, loses the back end though. That's going to cost a couple of tenths and into the chicane, into the pits he dives, sorry. into the pit lane. Here's Oxus, or Oxku. He's on his outlap for him. Pedro on an inlap. Talentless into the pits. Yelmer, Salidianis into the pits as well. So everybody looking like they're going to dive into that pit lane. I thought we might have seen Ferrari Pro go for a lap then, but he's backed out of that one as well. Fake TB, of course, he'll be coming back in. He's invalidated anyway, so I'm sure he'll be back in. So a little bit of a respite then. Who is the first car we've got? What's Pedro doing? Pedro's going to come into the pit, burning the living daylights out of those soft tyres. Who is going to be? Is it going to be Avi Gabardi again? Here he comes then. About to start his flying lap after that mistake on his first outing. Across the start-finish line we go, wing wide open, and let's jump to the broadcast view as we see the Kick Sauber in the background of Oxku starting his lap. So we know where to go next if indeed Avi Gabardi does begin to make a mistake. Almost invalidates there in Sector 1. Tricky first sector, this one. Have to be pretty neat and tidy on your steering. Definitely suits the wheel users better, I think, as he goes what felt like quite wide there. Down the hill he'll go then towards turn 8 and 9. And that first split is a 31.7. So comparable to some of the guys out in front. Plenty of battery left as he just pumps a little bit of battery there as he heads out of that slow corner into the hairpin. Will we see him use a little bit of battery on the exit of the hairpin again? Will he flick it on? He will. He'll flick it on momentarily just to get himself a little bit more pace down the hill towards the right-hand turn, which takes us towards Spoon. The pretty quick left-hander. Double left-hander, I suppose you could call it, as then we go down the hill towards the valley, I like to call it, as we climb then up towards the crest at the end of Sector 2. The split is going to be a 10-9. Feels relatively competitive for Avi Gabardi. Into the final chicane he goes. Let's jump on board then to see what kind of lines he takes. Nice lines through there. Plenty of curb through the chicane and the exits. Tight line and a 21.6 to go fourth fastest. 900s between himself and the fake TB and 500s behind the treat as Yanil claims a position on the second row with a 27.4 400s, but it's FGE Jake with a 27.2. 1/10 faster than Nao Gio, who claims provisional pole. Here comes the currently P20 AMS Wards, starting his lap. Through Sector 1 he navigates. Lovely little job by him to get himself through there without any incident. And it's a 31.7. So again, another... to carry a lot of speed there through turn 8 and 9. That was the right-hander for the hairpin. Through he goes. Hairpin's always one I've struggled with in terms of traction on the way out. So good to see these guys in Tier 3. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, these guys could well be considered in the top 100 to 200 drivers on console. So you're watching guys who know how to drive the game. They might not be in the top 200 for time trials, because it is all about race pace, of course. Plenty of traffic out in front then. What's the second split going to be? It's a 10-9. So again, reasonably competitive, I feel, as he goes through 130R. It did show up as a purple middle sector, but we know that this game does love a purple middle sector, no matter how fast you go through it. Hit the brakes. That's an unconventional way of hitting the pit lane, but to hit the pit lane he does. Right then, who've we got out? So Wards is going to have to set another lap. Getting out of the way is FGE Jake. Now Gio, a couple of hundreds, beg your pardon, a couple of tenths up then, going through that second, going into the second sector in the Ferrari. Now has had a pretty good season, we have to say. He's been unfortunate a couple of occasions. And just couldn't really maintain pace with Fake TB, who, of course, won the championship last week. 3 tenths up then. So this is looking like he might even sneak into the 26s. Let's see how he navigates this final chicane then. Applies the throttle now then. Tight line on the inside, no doubt near the wall. Yes, it is. Wing wide open and crosses the line. Doesn't quite make it into the 26s, but it is a 27 flat. Whoa, onto the grass goes the McLaren of Manly, or Mankey, or Monkey, or whatever we're going to call him. The treat. How's the treat getting on? He's not really pushing out on the lap. Dettel, here comes Dettel. Invalidated. Thomas in the pits. Fake TB. 8 tenths over, so he'll probably want to push again as he gets all out of shape coming out of turn 9. OVR Lucas. Doesn't look like he's on a push lap right now. No, definitely not. He's not on a push lap either. Luca N. What's Luca up to? Is Luca going to be in the 110s, 111s perhaps, as we get down to there? He's 100th quicker, so needs to find a little bit of time here in the final sector. I think he might have bailed on this lap. No, he isn't. He's going to continue. Has he managed to increase his time? He has. Decrease his time, should I say. Just over a tenth. Better. P11 for him. Only 100th behind Abagabardi. Ferrari's still not on a lap. Leon Harmon not on a lap. Pedro. 1/10. He's a second faster. So Pedro had obviously made some mistakes on his first run. Looking to put himself down a good time now. So at the minute, he'd be in the 27.9, so a little bit more to find if he's going to trouble the top few rows. And he has found it. 1.1 seconds, but up to 14th and 14th only for the Mercedes man. Good evening, everybody, by the way. This is WOR Tier 3 console. It's the season finale at Suzuka. My name's Andy Owen, by the way, and I hope you're having a great evening, a great Thursday. We're looking forward to seeing who can throw down some good laps. 5 tenths slower for Luca with no battery left. He won't be putting down a lap. AMS Wards. Now, let's see. The two Red Bulls at present, AMS Gelman, AS Wards, sitting at the bottom. Let's see what kind of lap time AMS Wards can throw down here then. It is a 31.6, so feels competitive. Too deep, though, into turn 9. That'll have lost any advantage you would have gained through that first sector. Tries a power slide round the hairpin. Seems like he might be out for a little bit of fun tonight, having not set himself a lap just yet. Let's see how he gets on, though. You never know. You can't discount some of these guys. Into Spoon. Navigate Spoon pretty well, if you ask me. Then again, I'm not as good as these Tier 3 guys, that's for sure. So we're looking for something in the mid-110s, perhaps, to be competitive. Early 111s it is, so maybe he'll be pushing himself up into the top 10 with that. How's he going to navigate the final chicane? Seems to take it slowly. And we all know, on this game, you make up the most of your time in those slow corners. What's he going to finish with? It's a 12.7 up to P13. Ousts Liam Hardman. Is Brent on a lap, or is Brent just done? Brent's just done. Oxcu slides into the final chicane. He's looking to have improved by a couple of tenths, but is he going to be able to get himself into the 27s? He is. Just about gets himself into the 27s. Stays in P19, though. FGE. Jake gets it all wrong coming out of the final chicane. I think he'd already invalidated anyway. Having himself a little bit of fun. And I think that's all she wrote for who's on track setting a lap right now. Don't believe that Oxcu is on a lap. Just enjoying himself a little power slide round the S's here at Suzuka. If you're one of the 14 people watching here in Tier 3, feel free to jump in, say hello, let me know who you are, where are you watching from, and who are you rooting for. You might just be one of the drivers rooting on yourself. Who knows? Whilst we've got a small lull in proceedings, we're just going to play an advert from one of our sponsors. Back with you shortly. Welcome back, everybody. Oscu is indeed the house. I've been calling him Oxcube, or Oxcube. So Oscu's learning load cell, and he has retired from the session. You haven't missed anything, by the way, so everybody is still flying. I think there might just be about enough time for Lucas to get around and do another lap. He made a mistake there through Sector 1, so he'll probably want to go again. We've got the Ferrari then. Who's actually on a flyer? The Treat's on a flyer. He's just started, has he? Or has he just finished? I think he might have just started a lap, so he's just starting. OVL Lucas, obviously. The Fake TB is on a lap. He's at the end of the home straight. So let's just dive on board with the world champion then. He deserves his screen time. He's dominated this tier this season as Dettel retires in the pit lane. So that's both a kick and an Alpine out of proceedings so far. Now, Fake TB currently sat fourth, a couple of tenths back, or 2.5 tenths back, 1.5 tenths back. That feels a lot slower. So yeah, he's going to be racing his way around to try and get one more lap in, is the Fake TB. As much as he's been dominant on the racetrack, he hasn't been dominant in qualifying this season. So we can see that his race pace is certainly more important. Here comes Jano then. Just a mere 200ths behind the Fake TB currently. What's his Sector 1 time looking like? Is he going to be posting something that looks competitive? Looks like it, yeah. Almost 2 tenths to the good. Doesn't make a mistake into turn 9, which is something that we've seen regularly this evening. His mistakes into turn 9, up to the hairpin. Tiny little lock up on that front left. We may well have lost a little bit of the advantage that he had gained there, but he'll look to make it up as he goes through Spoon. Plenty of curb. You notice the guys do take the shortest line possible, carrying the most speed. 5th gear on the overtake. Keeps it on the overtake for quite a distance then. Up towards the crest as we head towards 130R. Careful of the bumps on that right-hand side. Careful of the grass on the right-hand side as well. This Fake TB calls it a day in the pits. Ooh, takes a lot of curb. Is he going to improve enough, Janil? Can he push himself up towards pole position? Certainly the front row. He gets himself up. Oh, it was invalidated. It was invalidated. I've missed the invalidation. We've got a kick Sauber finishing up Lucas. Here's Lucas, 3 tenths to the good. That would get him up towards the front 2 rows. There he is. Actually, 3rd row. Then the Ferrari. Is it now Gio? Now Gio. Too slow from Niall. Doesn't improve on his time. Haas crosses the line. Goes 3rd fastest. It's Luca N. We've then got an Alpine. It's Liam Hardman, is it? It must have been Liam Hardman crossing the line. We've got plenty of cars left to cross. We've got a Red Bull. Here comes Thomas. Thomas does improve up to the 2nd row. 24.3. As you can see, tight times again. He bests Luca N by 0.003 of a second. Where's the Treat? Treat's not doing a lap. Ferrari Pro, is he doing one? No. Too slow from him. What about Jalma? Jalma coming around that final corner, loses the back end. That's going to compromise his time. Will he improve still? He does, but he only goes 18th fastest after that mistake. That probably cost him a couple of positions on the starting grid. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your lot. Ferrari Pro isn't on a quick lap. That will be qualifying done for this short qualifying session here at WOR Tier 3. And it's going to be the Ferrari man, Niall Gio, who takes pole position at the final race of the season. Super stuff from him. Maybe a little bit of solace to be taken from this final week of the season for the Ferrari man after the disappointment of losing out on the title with the dominance of the McLaren of Fake TB. Welcome in, everybody. I hope you're having a great time. We will be, no doubt, restarting the lobby because we like to restart here in WOR. It means that everybody sets off the race on the right temperature of tyre. Or when I say the right temperature of tyre, I mean the same temperature of tyre. I actually have just obviously missed something. So we'll go back because we don't want to miss this. It's now Gio on pole position. Joining him on the front row, it's FGE Jake in the Mercedes. McLaren's Manley. BRT Thomas, 2nd row. 3rd row, it's Luca N and the Treat with Lucas and Fake TB on row 4. Janil and Avigobardi on row 5. Then we've got Celia Dennis, Ferrari Pro, Dettel, Brent, Pedro, Liam, AMS Ward, Yelmer, Talentless, Oscu. So we just about managed to get that in. Just about managed to get that in before the clock ran out. So, Gio, how are you doing, my friend? Hope you're having a great Thursday. I do believe we'll restart. I'm just going to double check in the Discord, of course, to make sure that that, of course, is the case. I should assume that. Okay. Are we seeing any retirement, or are we just going straight tonight? We might end up going straight tonight. We'll have to wait and see. Normally, what we have is they retire, go back into the lobby, we set the grid, and then we're off. I don't see any communication about that, though. So it may well be that we are just off, up, and running, which means I'll need to get back on to here. And we are off. It looks like... Oh, no, we're retiring. Lots of retirements. There we go, and there we have it. Yeah, there you go. That tells you everything you need to know, ladies and gentlemen. Peter Kamensky, good evening. I'm Dennis's brother. Come on, points are real. Yeah, points really are real. As we take a look at some of the fun that could be had when you crash your car and retire from the race. Where's Manley? Where is he? There he is, look, flying off into the distance. He couldn't quite retire the car, but I'm sure he'll do his very best there. And there we go. There we go, and there we have it. Right, there'll be a lobby reset, of course, ladies and gents. We will get going green very, very shortly. I can't imagine it'd be too long. It usually gets done pretty sharpish, which, of course, is wonderful news. And once we've got going again, we will be back at it, certainly. What we might just do is have ourselves a tiny little break. I'm going to run a couple of adverts because we couldn't do this with, of course, not just without our sponsors, but we couldn't do it without the viewers. We couldn't do it without the drivers, and we certainly couldn't do it without all the people working so hard in the background to make WOR the success that it is. So I'll be back in a minute. My name's Andy Owen, and I'll join you very shortly. We're going to do a couple of adverts. I think we'll start with Grid Finder. Right, there we go. Sorry for the multiple adverts. I just fancied getting myself a little drink as well to wet the palate and to help with the voice as we go throughout the course of this 27-lap race at Suzuka. One of my favourite tracks to commentate on and one of my favourite tracks to drive as well. So if there's anybody else in the chat, there's 9 of you in there watching right now. Anybody else like Suzuka? Who do you think is going to win the race? Niall stands a great chance with Fake TB being further on down the grid, but of course, Fake TB has come from a long way down the grid this season to win on a couple of occasions. We're just getting the grid set right now as the lobby restarts, so we'll be with you very, very shortly. I just want to make sure that I'm set as a spectator. Yes, I am. We've only got 19 cars in, so somebody is indeed missing. Hopefully they'll be back very shortly. Who do we think is going to win? Blake Southern Karting thinks Dettel's going to win. Dettel's a little bit further on down the grid, I believe. I can't remember. Memory isn't serving me too well. Must be my age. But Dettel, that would be a good result for Dettel. Or is Dettel one of the guys who's not in at the moment? No, Dettel is in the Alpine. He is in the lobby, so still a chance for him to win. For you, Blake. Anybody else in tonight rooting for a team in particular? Who's your favourite Formula One driver and why? That's a question I've got for you tonight. Who's your favourite Formula One driver and why? And what's your favourite track and why? Anybody like Suzuka? One of my favourite tracks to drive. I don't win many races, but Suzuka is a race that I have won in the past. Be interesting to see just who likes the track and who your favourite driver is. My favourite driver is Lewis Hamilton. I've grown up. I say grown up. He was winning races probably when I was his age. Obviously, all the way back in 2008 when he won his first World Championship with that incredible turnaround of events that happened at Sao Paulo in the Brazilian Grand Prix. Max, because he's aggressive. And Baku, because it's hard. Baku is incredibly difficult. I've got to race Baku on Monday, and I can't tell you too much, but I'm not looking forward to it, Blake, I can assure you. Castle section does get me pretty much every time. And the amount of times I change more wings than British Airways when I race around Baku, it does become what I would consider one of the biggest challenges. Like Monaco, easy. I've raced it. I think I've raced it on 3 occasions, and I've got 3 podiums. One of which was a win. So I don't mind Monaco at all. Matter of fact, all the street circuits I'm kind of cute with. I like Singapore. I've won there. Vegas, I've won there. Saudi Arabia, I've won there. Baku, not a fan, mate. Not a fan. But we're just getting ready. I think we're just waiting. Let me just double check on the Discord group, lads, just so that I can see if we're waiting for anybody in particular. Come on, Discord, work. That would be nice. Oh, Wards. So we're missing Wards, I think, at the moment. See if we can get him in. Yeah, Yelmer's in. We're just missing Wards at present. Hopefully Wards isn't still driving around. I don't think he can be because everybody's back in the lobby. So we've got Oscar in, we've got now Gio, we've got Ferrari Pro, Dettel in the Alpine, the Vija Cash App, Red Bull Sugar Free of BRT Thomas. We've then got the Mercedes of Pedro Breton, AMS Yelmer in the Red Bull, the Haas of Luca N, the Treat in the Aston Martin, Haas's Yanil, Talentless in the Scuderia Ferrari, Williams of Brent, Manley in the McLaren, the Alpine of Liam Hardman, Salia Dennis in the Aston Martin, Kick Sauber's OVR Lucas, the Fake TB, the world champion, let it be said, in the McLaren, the Mercedes of FGE Jake, he's on the front row, of course, alongside the Ferrari of Naugio, Ava Gabardi in the Williams, and then it's myself spectating in the commentary box. We're going to ready up. We're going to go without him. We are going without him. We are readying up. Let's get you back to the in-game broadcast then as the counter ticks down towards lights out. Good luck to everybody, by the way, racing tonight. I hope you have a great race. I hope you all finish. Let's make it a spectacle. It is the season finale here in season 18 at WOR, and we are looking forward to making a magnificent race happen. Nothing better than calling the action around a good race. Let's take it easy, steady into turn 1, gents. We've got no idea what the weather's going to be like either tonight. So with dynamic weather, obviously one of the settings in this game, we'll get an initial first shot as we fly into the paddock and get the overview. And there you go, and there you have it. What better way to finish the season than a wet Suzuka? Intermediate conditions, not enough rain there for full blue-rimmed tyres. So in terms of the rule then, because we're starting on the wet tyre, there will not be a reason to put on two forms of slick compound. So the slick compounds obviously, of course, being red soft, yellow medium, and the white hard. There does appear to be quite a bright sky, though, so maybe the rain will abate quite soon. Look at these poor guys in their yellow high-vis suits, the stewards and marshals. No hats or umbrellas for them. Plenty of umbrellas up in the paddock, though, as we can see, which is unusual because it looks like it's covered with that roof up top. But they'll get their umbrellas out anyway. That's what we like to see. A little bit of Cody's magic. The big wheel, obviously, on that right-hand side, still going round. I can't imagine there's too many people sat on the wheel this evening. At this point, of course, the guys will have known it was going to rain in the race, so maybe that would have affected some of the qualification pace. Depending on how long this rain lasts, it may well be that some of the guys have got the dry setups on with a transition onto the slick tyre maybe early to mid-race. Like I said, the sky does look quite bright, so maybe the rain will stop shortly, but we will not know until we get going. Will not know until we get going. But yeah, a little bit of rain. A little bit of rain. And yeah, we'll be getting ready to... I think we're going to ready up round about 8:41. So we've got a couple of minutes to wait. Whilst we do wait, any advice you've got for our drivers tonight around what their setup should look like? It definitely looks like intermediate conditions and not full wets. I would imagine that would be the go-to strat for tonight. And while we're doing that, let's just have a quick double check on how Manchester United are doing. Good Lord. $40 minutes in and it's Porto 2, Manchester United 2. Interesting. And to think, I could have travelled to Porto tonight to watch the Mighty Reds. Decided better of it, though. I mean, I wouldn't want to miss comms for WOR now, would I? Marcus Rashford and Rasmus Højlund on the score sheet for United. Pepe, the evergreen Pepe, and Samu Morodion on the score sheet for Porto. But looks like an entertaining game. Don't go and watch it, though. You're better off sticking with me. Because why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? Almost ready to rock and roll, then. The clock is about to tick over to 8:41, where we will ready up. The guys will all have their setups on. And, of course, have their strategy for the race. I would imagine the strat that you'll start off with is intermediate. I don't know whether you can actually change that. It's not something that rings a bell with me. Here we go then. We are ready to rock and roll, ladies and gentlemen. That's 3, 4, 5 lights on. And it's showtime here. Tier 3 WOR Season 18 finale. Now Gio maintaining his P1. It looks like a Haas has gone off there. That would be Luca N. But FGE Jake maintains his P2. Manley P3. Thomas P4 as we go throughout the field then through the first few turns. A little bit of action in the midfield as Brent seems to lose a little bit of front wing there after running into the back of AMS Jelmer. Plenty of cars may well be dipping into the pit lane. There's the Alpine of Dettel, one of the guys that was predicted to win the race by Blake. Looks like he's missing an end plate as well. Yeah, no, he's not missing an end plate as off the track goes Janil. Janil deep into turn 8. Misses it out, and therefore he will be in all kinds of trouble. No yellow flags, though. Interestingly enough, after all that, look at that. Who's that up the inside? That looked like it was the Alpine of Dettel trying to make a move. Fake TB up into P number 6, up a couple of positions. 4 positions up for Jelmer. So good stuff from him. And a tight battle here. Look at this, 2 times 2 wide. So Thomas, Luca with the fake TB right behind. It's Jake. Jake's been superseded in P2 by Manley, up into P2 in the McLaren. Thomas also getting past the Mercedes, heading into that chicane. Still the rain tumbles down here at Suzuka then, as now Gio, 1.3 seconds. Of course, no DRS because of the weather conditions. Luca fakes to go down the inside at turn 1 and dives back to the outside, but FGE Jake is unfazed, holding his line. Luca under pressure though from the world champion Fake TB, hounding him all over the back, getting very close to that rear wing. And the diffuser of the Haas is the McLaren. Let's just double check that everybody is indeed on the intermediate tyre. Yeah, everybody on the intermediate tyre. 1.6 seconds the gap now, as we've got what, if we did have DRS, there would be a DRS train from P2 all the way back to P18 with Osku, who's learning load cell. He told us, we found out that earlier on before the race commenced. Janil down 7 places for him, up 4 for Jelmer, up 1 for Talentless, up 3 for Ferrari Pro in P9, up 2 for Avi Gabardi, up 2 for Dettel as well, and then 2 down obviously for Jake, 3 down for OVR Lucas, 5 down now for Janil after he claims a couple of positions back. Looks like Brent might have had himself a problem. Maybe he's missing an end plate, maybe not. It's difficult to tell in these conditions. No, he's not missing an end plate. Maybe that was just some shadow that I saw. Ferrari of Talentless then, alongside Pedro Breton, coming through the chicane. Locking tyres. That's going to allow the Williams to get a run on both of them, I think, down towards turn 1. Is the Williams going to burn battery? Is Brent going to turn the battery? Here comes Brent then. Gets 1 position, does he? Just about on the inside of Talentless, but Talentless has to cede position also to Liam Hardman, does he? No, just about hangs on to that position. Let's just get telemetry and lap data on as well, because that would be nice for us to see. Figure out where we've got some racing. Here we've got some racing, look. So Jake under some immense pressure between Luca, Fake TB and Treat. All very close as Treat and Fake TB side by side through turn 9, heading down towards the right-hander before the hairpin, which is obviously a left up the inside. Goes Fake TB. Gets too deep, though, and there's contact between the Aston Martin, the McLaren, and a kick Sauber as well, as OVL Lucas makes contact. Lucas does indeed get past, though, Ava Gabardi. So Ava Gabardi remains in P10. Close-knit racing, then, in this midfield. Look at the battle we've got going on. Ava Gabardi and Lucas battling it out through Spoon. Who's going to come out on top? On the exit then, down towards 130R. It's going to be Ava Gabardi. Dettel, in fact, gets through as well. Looking like Saleh Dennis. We're going to call him Dennis. We'll call him Dennis, I think. Peter, we'll call him Dennis. Up the inside goes Dennis then, making a move, but not able to hold on to it on the exit, is he? Maybe he is. Just getting side by side with Lucas and Dennis then. And side by side as well, Jelmer and Janil. Down towards turn number 1 we go. Who's going to be first or last on the brakes? Last of the late breakers is the Haas of Janil. Gets a little bit of contact with Lucas, though, in through turns 1 and 2. Into the S as they go. Side by side, we'll get a good view here from the rear wing of Dennis as to what's going to go on and happen behind him. Seems as though they've settled into position as they head down towards turns 8 and 9. 10 of you in the chat right now. Feel free to say hello. We see Lucas getting all out of shape on the gravel. He's going to lose a position to Yelmer. Yes, he does. And plenty of position. He's actually going to be under pressure from Talentless as well. Don't forget, ladies and gents, this battle for the Constructors' Championship will require Talentless to score points as we currently stand, because Manly and Fake TB picking up points. 25 for Now Gio, 18 for Manly, and what's that, 18, 15, 12, 10, 8 for Fake TB, so 8 and 15. It'll actually be very, very close. So Fake TB needs to pick up a couple of positions. Dettel, one of the guys who was tipped to win, all over the back of the Williams of Avi Gabbardi as Lucas picks up our first penalty for his interpretation of track limits tonight. Not matching that of the race director. Now Gio currently sat with that extra point as well, which may well be needed as we head towards the end of this race. Still the rain pours here in Japan at the Circuit Suzuka. Lap 5 of 27. Plenty of time to go, though, for people to make moves, for things to happen, for races to develop into something spectacular. Well, Fake TB looking like he's going to make a move, trying to go around the outside at turn number 8. He's going to get that move done nice and easy. Gets through well before. Can he defend into turn 9? From Jake, yes, he can. Jake tumbling down the field now after starting second on the grid. Gaps beginning to appear out in front then. Now Gio as Gabbardi and Dettel exchange places once, if not twice. 2.6 seconds then the gap for Niall. It's back to Manley in P2 in the McLaren. P3 is BRT Thomas. Nice to see a couple of the reserves from Tier 4 up and competing. Lucas wide yet again. Can't be too far from a track limits penalty for him. Dettel and Gabbardi really going at it here as they come through Spoon onto the lowest part of the track, up towards the crest of this hill at the end of Sector 2. Lots of racing to be achieved, lots of racing to be done. Into the chicane. Now bests his time yet again, 2.8 seconds that gap. Super stuff from these drivers so far. A full complement of, I say a full complement, we did have 20 drivers in qualification, but Wards unfortunately wasn't able to make it back to the race lobby. So we've got a full complement of drivers in the 19 that started the race. Good to see Lucas, after picking that penalty up and Talentless, battling hard through turns 2 into turn 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. They go, Talentless bests the Kick Sauberman to move up into P14. No points for him though. He'll want to try and help the Ferraris win that Drivers' Championship, the Constructors' Championship. So he will need to put the pedal to the metal and try and close down that 1.3 second gap to the back of the Red Bull as FGE Jake yet again down into P8 now from P2. Losing positions all the time, 6 on the night so far. He's under pressure from the Alpine of Dettel as well, who's up 4 positions. So maybe Jake had himself a dry setup on it and is really struggling in these damp conditions. Another gap forming here is 2.4 seconds between the Treat and Fake TB. Fake TB up into 5th on the chase then, looking to chase down Luca and BRT Thomas. With Manley, obviously his teammate, up in P2 at the minute. 3.6 seconds now off the back of the Ferrari of Now Gio. So as it currently stands in terms of points and Constructors' Championship, we'll have what? 18... 28 points for McLaren. The gap is 4. So it's 26 points for Ferrari, 28 points for McLaren at the moment. So at the minute, Ferrari lead the Constructors' title on lap 7 of 27. Plenty of time left to go, though. And are we going to see a move from Fake TB? Fake TB making another move there. That would tie it up. And it would go to race wins. And, of course, we know Fake TB's got plenty of race wins under his belt. I believe that's what the split decision would be anyway. On in terms of maybe if it's count back, Niall would win it, because obviously he's leading this race. But plenty of time left to go. The rain looks a tiny little bit lighter from the on-board. So let's just have a quick look how it looks from elsewhere, as we've got a battle between Jake now down in 9th as Dettel gets the better of him. Talentless is up into P13. So plenty of laps done on these intermediate tyres. I don't know whether anybody's actually pit yet. The gaps that we've got would suggest that nobody's gone into the pit lane even with damage. We just wet our whistle. Luca closing in. The Haas closing into the back of the McLaren. Fake TB, will he make a move into the chicane? Has a cheeky little look on the inside. Is he going to try a switcheroo? He isn't. He's going to remain back. Niall still with that fastest lap. He's bested his own time pretty much every single lap right now. But we're going to see Fake TB. Are we making a move down into turn 1? Yes, we are. Gets that move done. And now the Constructors' title, it's tied on points. If things were to finish now, it's tied on points. So Fake TB needs one more place. How's Talentless getting on in his quest to pick up some points? Within a second of the back of Dennis in the Aston Martin. As Dennis must have made a little mistake there, because Talentless has closed up 4/10 in just a couple of corners. Let's have a look at the gap to the leader then, 12 seconds. So if we look at Talentless then to a point scoring position, he's only 1.7 seconds back, even though it's 4 places or 3 places. So still an opportunity for Talent to contribute towards this world title for the Constructors. And wouldn't it be nice for the Ferrari man, who has struggled for the majority of this season, to pick that P10 or P9 and help his teammate now Gio, who's currently leading this race, to make sure that they clinch that Constructors' Championship. But as we've said plenty of times before, as a mistake from Dennis does allow Talentless to make a position up into P12 he goes then. Not too far behind Avi Gabardi. 2/10 behind Yanil is Gabardi though, so he'll be getting dragged along in that slipstream. Now Gio bests his time yet again into the 38s he goes. It does look like the weather is drying out. We can see a dry line forming on the track. And we can also see that the rain, although still coming down, is a little bit lighter than it was in prior laps. As all the work that Talentless had done to get round Dennis has been undone. He's going to be under pressure from Pedro as well. He's power slid round turns 1 and 2. Into the S as they go then. Good battles in this midfield. All the way from P6, the treat all the way down to P14 in Pedro Breton. Less than a second between each of these drivers. As gets out of shape there, Avi Gabardi. He's going to come under pressure from Dennis then. He won't have traction going into there. Yanil picks up the next of our warnings. And a little bit of a mess there from Dennis. Almost way to the back. And that's OVR Lucas getting all out of shape round turn 9. He's going to lose multiple positions all the way down to P17. Not a good night for the Kick Sauber team so far, as Dennis does indeed lose out to Avi Gabardi. Talentless has lost out again down into P14 now, as Pedro Breton bests him. All the work to be done then by the Ferrari. What's the story out in front now? Gio clinching this one, checking out 5.3 seconds down the road as Fake TB gets all out of shape, coming out of 130R towards the final chicane. Another best lap by now Gio. These guys are struggling to live with the Ferrari man tonight. All done 9 laps on the intermediate tyre. When are we going to see people diving into the pit lane. Are we going to see people diving into the pit lane right now? Lucas has had enough. The final race of the season. Lucas has enough. Calls it a day. Sticks it into the pit lane. Leaves the session as well. We'd rather you'd get in, Lucas, to be fair, so that we don't get any lobby glitches. But so be it. Can't change that now. So Fake TP has managed to gap himself ever so slightly from BRT Thomas. Not by too much though, still within that second. And whilst these three guys battle it out for P2, you would imagine that BRT Thomas will be able to stick with them. The treat then 4.4 seconds off the back, and he's under immense amounts of pressure from Dettel, Ferrari Pro, the Alpine and the V-Carb. Yellow flags in Sector 1, and that's Osku who's gone round as he's on his way to the hairpin. Yellow flags have stopped as he enters the hairpin. 8.2 seconds now off the back of Brent, who currently sits in P17. So yeah, not a good night for Kicksauber. Have a look to see if we can see the rain on track. We can't see the rain on track, so a nice dry line forming as Luca makes the move into the chicane. Are we going to see a little bit of papaya rules, or are we going to see a bit of team orders? Looks like we're going to see papaya rules then. The boys are allowed to race, but off the track goes Manley, lets the Fake TB through, if not by choice, by pure pace. As Fake TB now in P3, he will have his sights set on the back of this Haas. And once he gets past the Haas, he'll be looking to reel in that 6.3 seconds to Niall. We know it, we've seen it before, and we know it can happen. He's up 5 positions right now. 5 positions also for Dettel and Ferrari Pro, by the way. And, of course, Talentless as well, who's found himself back up into P13 now. But plenty of battling through. The two... it's FGE Jake who's round. We've also got a Williams round, is it? No, it's Ferrari Pro. Ferrari Pro's retired on track, has he? No, he's not retired on track. We'll try and get him back in if we can. We will try and get him back in. Let's try with recently played with. See if we can get back in there. Nope, he's not on my recently played with, unfortunately. Is he in here somewhere? Come on, let's go. Nope, can't see him, lads. Can't see him. Can't help you. Can't help you. We've got the first cars in the pit lane, though. It's Fake TB and BRT Thomas. Are they going to be able to manufacture an undercut then? They're going to go with that intermediate tyre. Are they going to be able to manufacture an undercut that gets them closer to Now Gio? Now Gio is losing a little bit of time there. Lost 3 or 4 tenths to Luca N. Manley 1 second off the back then, and then it's a 6.9 second gap. They're going to filter out in P... Oh, he's ghosted, thankfully, is Ferrari Pro. We can't get him back in. SRA NASCAR, let's go. Hope you're doing very well, sir. Luca N, big penalty for the Haasman. Currently sat in P2, picks up 3 seconds. Now then, let's just double check the gap to leader we've got. So Fake TB and BRT Thomas, 26.2 seconds then for Fake TB. He's on fresh intermediates. Are we going to see the guys out in front hanging on for dear life onto this set of inters? Are we going to see the rain abate? Are we going to see a transition period and the crossover from wet tyres or intermediate tyres onto the slicks? And if it is going to enter the crossover period, what tyres will these guys throw on? To all of you guys watching right now, my name's Andy Owen. I hope you're doing very well as we see Fake TB go far too deep into Spoon and have to take some rather cursive action that takes him off track. Will have picked himself up a penalty, and the treat is out. Virtual safety car. So the Aston Martin loses it at the before the final chicane. The exit to, there he is, He lost it on the exit to 130R. It's a virtual safety car. Are we going to see people dive in the pit? We are. Luca, Manley, Yanil, Gabadi, Pedro Breton, Taltless, Hardman, Jake, Dennis, all jumping into the pit lane. That's going to let Fake TB jump all these drivers, other than Luca and his teammate Manley. So that's worked out beautifully for Fake TB, but also beautifully for Luca and Manley. They've still got that 27 second gap between themselves and the race leader, Niall. It's actually a full it says virtual safety car top left, of course, but it is a full safety car. We've seen the safety car out on circuit. You can see the little yellow dot at the end of turns 1 and 2 on screen, just being overtaken by the other cars right now. Let's just jump on board with them and you'll see the safety car. There it is, see, in the distance before we get to turn 4 or turn 3. Let's just double check the tyre situation then. Come on, tyres, where are you? Oh, I was on the right thing. Yeah, so 12 laps for Niall and Dettel. Are those guys going to dive into the pits? Niall making his way down. Should have plenty of time to dive into the pit lane, get himself some fresh boots on and get back out. Dettel will probably come out somewhere in that top 5. Yeah, in comes Niall then. Double check the penalty situation as well. 3 seconds for Luca, Yanil and Oscar. And that will mean everybody's stopped once we get Dettel into the pit lane. And there comes Dettel flying round into the pit lane in the distance. These guys, certainly Niall will get out in P1 and he will pick up the safety car as he goes around this next turn. Looks like we'll probably get racing again, not on lap 15. I think the gap might be a little bit too much. Because we've got some other guys going into the pit lane as well. Right, what's happening in the pit lane? Are we seeing people being brave? We are seeing a couple of brave decisions. So Liam Hardman and FGE Jake have thrown the medium tyre on. They've gone for it. Final race of the season, why wouldn't you? The rain does appear to be thinning out in the air. So it does look like we've got a couple of brave decisions. Are we going to have anybody else dive into the pits though? We won't get racing on lap 15, I wouldn't have thought. We'll have one more lap of safety car conditions because Oscar, Jake, Brent and Liam are just off the back at the minute. And I would imagine Liam is, I was just about to say, I imagine Liam's going quite carefully with the slicks on. But contrary to that suggestion, he is pushing to try and make it to the back of the safety car queue. Not too sure I'd be pushing quite this hard on slick tyres given the conditions. No switchbacks allowed, Brent, whilst we're under safety car conditions, my friend. Now, the rain looks like it's stopped. So the rain does look like it's stopped. But this game, again, does have a habit of saying it stopped raining and then conditions still being treacherous for a further 4 or 5 laps. So there is a dry line, or a drying line, should I say. Nobody else is diving into... Oh, we are getting some pit lane action. So we are going to get some pit lane action, and everybody's going to dive in for the slicks. Does that mean that Liam Hardman and FGE Jake are going to get through in front of all these guys? I've just seen a car morph and disappear from the straight, and what is happening? What is happening? You see all those? Oh, Yelmer. Severe talentless. A severe collision with talentless currently sat. Oh. What? What on earth am I seeing? Hang on. Hang on a minute. What am I seeing in this game? Where is Talentless going? Talentless, where are you going, bro? Right, okay. Interestingly, it would appear we have ourselves some minor issues. As per usual. Blame the game. I always blame the game. Now, Gio currently now sat in P4. We've got Dettel in P1. Everybody now, I believe, on those... Oh, no, 2 guys out in front yet to pit for new tyres. So, Dettel and Ferrari Pro, with the fresh intermediates on, are going to find themselves under an intense amount of pressure. An intense amount of pressure. We get back to racing conditions. I would imagine we'll get back to racing conditions relatively quickly. We might even get back to racing conditions on lap 16 because the rest of the cars are not too far behind. I think we'll find out once that kick Sauber crosses the line, will we? No, it's going to be too close. I can't see us getting going just yet. Let's just double check. See, yeah, we're going to stay out for one more lap on the safety car. That would have been a good time for your 2 intermediate runners to perhaps throw that slick compound on. Medium compound. Hard compound for Yelmer, though. So only 12 laps of racing, and he's gone for the hard compound. So that's another little surprise this evening so far. So full of surprises. Are we going to see ourselves some action then on lap number 16? Beg your pardon, lap number 17. I mean, I was hired to do this job because it can count, obviously. No mistakes from me. Who's in the prime spot then? Oh, Dennis! Dennis is out. So Dennis has had an accident coming out of turns 8 and 9 underneath the overpass, and he's now out of the race. So Aston Martin, a bad night for them as well. Getting ready to go racing, guys. Here we go. Soon to see the safety car come in, no doubt. Yeah, there we go. Safety car's on its way in. What we're going to do is we're going to jump. We're going to get on board. I think we'll go on board with Liam Hardman to see what these cars do out in front. The 2 intermediate runners in dry conditions now. Will they go straight in? They've gone, they've made a move early. Is Liam going to be under pressure? They continue. Gap's forming already. Luca caught out by Niall. 1.3 seconds off the back. We're going to see into turns. There's going to be so much more grip. Of course, Ferrari Pro, when he's not in control of his car, so he's going to be able to drive straight through him. The chase is on for Liam Hardman then. 2 Alpines out in front, 1 in a good position, 1 not so good. Once we see these 2 intermediate runners in, We'll have a quick tally up to see how the Constructors' Championship is evolving. What we can see, there's 2.6 second gap, big, deep into the hairpin. Just about manages to stay in front as Liam Harmon then in the Alpine. Through goes Niall at Spoon. No, through goes Niall and Luca actually. I missed that one, I beg your pardon. We'll wait for replay. So Niall then, really, I would imagine, be looking to try and... I can't understand how Dettel is so much quicker than all these cars. Has DRS been activated yet? I don't think DRS has been activated yet. I haven't seen anybody with DRS. Jump on with Oscar. I don't see anybody with DRS just yet. Although I was looking at the wrong car. So 4.6 seconds the gap then between Niall and Dettel. Somebody said that Dettel was going to win this race. If Dettel goes and wins this race from here, I will be flabbergasted. There it is. DRS is indeed enabled. I didn't think I'd seen it so far. But now on lap 18 of 27 then in this season finale here at WOR Tier 3. Now Gio leading the way in the Constructors alongside his teammate Talentless. Talentless not too far away now from picking up some points. That will help considerably. But that gap out to the front car, 4.9 seconds. Yellow flags in Sector 1, and that's Janil who's gone off through the turns. Gets himself going again to get moving. Talentless up into P10. That's going to help considerably. But not now Gio, will he have to claim the race win to help? So that's what, 18, 19 points for the Ferraris. We will see a new fastest lap, no doubt, very soon as BRT Thomas picks up 3 seconds for his interpretation of track limits. I've not seen a new fastest lap go through for some time. There we go. Pedro Breton picks up the fastest lap. Manley's down to P8. What's happened to him? With DRS being activated, that's going to liven things up for Liam, because he's got the hearse of Luca and all over that rear diffuser, all over that exhaust. You can see how close he is from this front wing camera. Niall now beginning to close that gap. There it was, 4.9. It's down to 3.9. Purple Sector 2 for the Ferrari. Close contact behind, though, as we've got Liam Hardman, Luca and the fake TB, BRT Thomas, Ava Gabardi, Manley, Jake, all within close contention. Janil's left the session. He's called it a night in the pit lane. Ferrari Pro continuing on fresh, hard tyres, if he's managed to get himself back into the lobby, of course. 3.7 seconds the gap. 2.3 then the gap back to Liam Hardman. And a whole host of cars with DRS. Obviously, there's only one DRS straight here, so we may see... and we'll jump on board with Liam then as he gets through 130 yard down towards that final chicane. Is he going to come under an immense amount of pressure? Now Gio reclaims the fastest lap of the race. BRT Thomas Ava Gabardi now. We are going to see a challenge for P2. Are we down into turn 1? We're not, no. The Haas thinks better of it. Luca retains P3. Liam Hardman retains P2. Don't like that look. We're going to change. Makes me feel marginally nauseous, does the look from the front wing. Yeah, don't like that. Liam Hardman. We've had the... He's pitted. Dettel's pitted, come out in P14, and Niall's now taken the lead of the race. Imagine your commentator not seeing that somebody's taken the lead of the race. 2.2 seconds back to Liam Harman there. So as it stands, currently, Ferrari will win the Constructors' Championship. Fake TB and Manley need to do more. With now Gio beating the Fake TB and Talentless right on the tail of Manley. Well, I say right on the tail, 1.8 seconds off the back. But only one position, therefore only a couple of points. Ferrari will claim that Constructors' title. Liam is going to come under some intense pressure. Who is going to be in P2 at the end of this long straight? Niall, quickest lap of the race, bested by a whole host of cars. We're definitely going to see one move get done. Are we going to see a double move? We are, as the Fake TB goes through, as well as Luca, to relegate Liam Hardman back to P4. But if he can stick with these guys, he's done all the hard work for the last 3 laps. He deserves to stick around, stick on the back of these cars and get himself into a position where he can be the car with DRS. And both him and the Fake TB, therefore, might be the cars that make that move down into Turn 1 after the one and only DRS zone here at Suzuka. The gap is closing to now Gio as well. Now only 1.3 seconds. It was 2 seconds but 1 lap and a half ago. Liam Hardman under pressure from BRT Thomas now. He's dropping off the back of the Fake TB. Doesn't want to do that. Needs to get himself into that DRS or keep himself in DRS range. Otherwise, he's going to be under pressure yet again, and he's dropped out. It's 1.1 second the gap. He's under pressure from BRT Thomas, Avagabardi and Manley. Manley will be looking to try and increase his points as Talentless has lost a couple of places now. He's been bested by the 2 Mercedes of Pedro Breton Jr. and FGE Jake. Under pressure, it's Liam into the chicane, gets run wide. Oh, big mistake that from Liam Hartman. And there's going to be, he's not going to have DRS either, I don't think. He's dropped all the way down to P7. Manley up into P5. It's all change. All change. And now, we've got, what, 15, 25 points for McLaren. 26 points for Ferrari. The Constructors' title is up for grabs tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Ferrari lead the way by 4 points. So Fake TB needs to get himself towards the front. Can he get that position? Look at the gap now closing down between Niall, Luca, Fake TB. 2.6 seconds the gap now. Back to Avagabardi. Manley, though, will be challenging him. He needs another position. If he can get another position, it could be McLaren that take this Constructors. Mistake by Niall, is it? He's going to come under pressure by Luca down towards 130R. We'll stick on board this front row seat that the Fake TB has, the world champion. Oh, we're going to see a challenge from him down into 130R. No, we're not, but we might see a move into the chicane by one of the 2 cars. Defensive line taken by Niall. Fake TB picks up 3 seconds. That's huge in terms of the Constructors. Huge. He will definitely now have to get towards the lead of the race. Are we going to see him now make a double move? Niall will take that defensive line. Oh, the push from the Haas. Plenty of space left by Niall, but too much space perhaps. He's going to lose the lead of the race as Dettel picks up the fastest lap. That's where that point's going at the moment. I say point's going, he's currently sat in P12, so he's not getting the point. Oh, this looks close as Fake TB bests the Ferrari of now Gio down into turns 8 and 9. Makes the move stick. And now the Constructors is on for McLaren. 28 points for McLaren. Only 16 currently for Ferrari. It's flipped on lap 23 of 27. Let's have a quick look. Has Noel got damage? No, it doesn't look like he's got any visible damage there, Jack. Talentless could be pivotal here. Let's have a quick look at the penalty situation. 3 seconds, though. Now Gio could still win this race as the two guys out in front of him do have 3 seconds of penalties. Yellow flag in sector 2. And it looks like it's Ferrari Pro perhaps that's gone round. No, it's Brent that's gone round in the Williams at Spoon. That won't impact us out in front. Talentless will be looking to get himself into a position where he can pick up another point. He's got to chase down FGE Jake for that extra point. No penalty for Manley. No penalty for Avagabardi as Brent picks up 10 seconds. It looks like he might go in the pit lane. 33 seconds. Yeah, he's in the pit lane. He'll call it a night. Yes, he does. Retires from the session. So Talentless, he's dropped a bit of time there, Talentless. He has dropped some time. If you're one of the 17 guys or girls in watching tonight, who is going to claim this Constructors' Championship? It is going to be nip and tuck. It is going to be close. On track, McLaren currently have it. However, the 3-second penalty to the fake TB will allow now Gio to jump both the Haas and the McLaren to claim the win and pick up 25 points. Will there be enough in Manley, in currently sat in P4 with no penalties? Will he get bested by the Williams of Evergabardi? Can Talentless begin to reel in the Mercedes duo of Pedro Breton Jr. and FGE Jake? We're going to find out in the next 3.5 laps, ladies and gents. We're about to start lap 25 of 27. Here we go. I thought I actually saw a little bit of rain then. I was slight heart palpitations. Now Gio doing exactly what he needs to do at the present moment in time, but he will come under pressure from Manley as well. Avagabardi will probably jump both Luca and the fake TB too. So these top 5 drivers, as it currently stands, 6 if you include BRT Thomas, will decide between them the destination of this Constructors' Championship. Giles, good evening. Hope you're doing very well. Not long to go. It's 24 minutes past 9. By 9:30, we'll know the destination. Provisionally, pending any penalties, of course, that end up into the steward's room, we will know the destination of that Constructors' World title. It looks to me as Jake picks up 3 seconds. That's good for Talentless. Good for Talentless. Can Talentless... Oh, FG Jake's crashed. He's out. So Talentless now moves up into P9. 2 points for Talentless. Where's Niall going to finish up? People on the pit wall will be getting their calculators out. Thanks very much, Jazz. Appreciate it, mate. Wards, PB would have put you P2, P3. Ah, Wards, what happened, mate? Could you not get back in? Now Gio under immense pressure from the second McLaren of Manley then. Lap 26 to 27. Penultimate lap. Manley needs to make this move. Manley needs this move, I believe, for the Constructors. With those 3-second penalties out in front, Luca and Fake TB will drop down to P5 and 6 respectively. Making the move on the inside of the hairpin is Manley. Is he going to get the move done? Is he going to make it stick? He's not, no. But Niall's going to be very careful. Hot on the tail of the world champion Fake TB. It's all set up to be an absolute banger of a final lap here at Suzuka for the season finale. The decision to be made around who claims that Constructors' Championship between Ferrari and McLaren. Talentless at the minute actually looking like he's only going to pick up 1 point. He needs to find 2/10 on that final lap to maintain P10 away from TTM Deathel in the Alpine. But here we go then. We start the final lap of this Japanese Grand Prix. Who's going to make moves? Who's under pressure? It swings McLaren's way. as Manley gets past now Gio, and Luca loses the lead of the race on track to Fake TB. Can Talentless in P9 hang on? He might do. Dettel now stuck behind Osku. Well, let's get back to where all the action is out in front then. This is where it's going to be decided, I think. Oh, Luca gets a little bit out of shape, which means Manley's going to put him under pressure. I mean, it won't matter in the grand scheme of things, as Niall gets out of shape as well. He's going to be under pressure from Ava Godabi. That could throw the cat amongst the pigeons then as they get up towards Spoon for the final time. Now Gio, the last of the late breakers, gets the job done, maintains his P4, but he is going to be under pressure, heading up the crest of the hill towards 130R. For the final time, lap 27, the final lap of the final race here, season 18. This is where we'll see who wins the Constructors. Are we going to see a late lunge from Luca at the chicane? We're not. Now Gio just about manages to retain P4 down towards the line, but it's going to be the Fake TB to cross the line first to win on track. But Manley, the reserve driver in the McLaren, takes the win. Now Gio P2, Avogaddabi P3, P4 for the Fake TB, Luca P5. Maths needed to be done. Talentless drops to P10. So that is, I don't like it when it does that. That's 19 points, I believe. 19 points to Ferrari. We'll have to do some quick maths. Talentless picks up driver of the day, but that penalty for him may well have cost the point or points that rip the Constructors' title out of the hands of the Prancing Horse and deliver it to the team in Papaya. Having already claimed the driver's title last week, it looks like they might have claimed the Constructors this week. We'll have a look at the final results. Everybody get your calculators out. The gap was 4 points between Ferrari leading the way and McLaren sat in second. Did they get that 5-point gap? 4 points might be enough with the number of race wins in the season. Did they get enough to rip the title out of the hands of the Ferrari? It's a fastest lap as well for Manley, so 26 points. 36 points, that is. 36 points. And therefore, with only 19 points, McLaren claim provisionally, pending any penalties in the steward's room, they will claim the title. Your provisional podium for tonight is Manley in the McLaren, followed by now Gio in the Ferrari. Bested again, last race of the season, and Avogaddabi in the Williams. There's your top three. That's your podium sitters, ladies and gents. What a good... Oh, MX doesn't score points. That's thrown it. That's thrown it all in. Of course, reserves don't score points. That means Ferrari are the champions. It made for some great drama, though, Niall, in the end. It did make for some great drama. Needless to say, I should have known that. However, it did make for some great drama on that final lap. Gave me something to scream and shout about to the masses, of course, that are flocking to see the race. It was 38 to McLaren, not 36, but Wards, the reserve doesn't score any points. So it is Ferrari that do claim the championship. It actually, as it happened, it needed to be Fake TB. Fake TB beating both Talentless and now Gio by a total of 4 points, and that didn't happen. So it is a world championship at last for the Ferraris. It is the Constructors, of course, after the Drivers' Championship went to Fake TB last week at Jeddah. But what a race. What a fantastic evening's racing we had there at Suzuka. 27 laps of pure adrenaline. Some absolutely superb moves. We always love that straight. The one DRS zone, you've got to make it count on this track. The circuit of 8. And I told you, didn't I? At the start of the night, raw fish might be one of the national dishes of Japan, but raw pace is the national dish of WOR. They made it happen. It stuck out. Thanks very much, Jack. Really appreciate that. No, absolutely, Woods. Absolutely. Cheers, Giles. Really do appreciate it. Yeah, we'll do some interviews now for sure. Let's get everybody into. Let's see if I can find it first. That would be helpful. Oh, let me put my headset in. Sorry, I'm a bit of a BTEC streamer tonight. BTEC commentator. Bear with me, lads. Bear with me. I'll be with you presently. I'll be with you presently. Get yourselves into that waiting room if you would be so very kind. Let's get Niall in. I think I'm in comms box 3. Niall, how you doing? I've got you, brother. I've got you. How you doing? Yes, I thought you might be. Yeah, please do, because it was some race, that. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Oh, right. Test it out. Mm-hmm. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm. Yes. Yeah, yeah, you did. You lost a lot of. You were under pressure from BRT Thomas, I think it might have been, into that. Yeah, you're right. It was Godiva. Yeah, you're right. It was Godiva into the spoon. Yeah. I did see actually. Yeah, you ditched the blazer before the start, but you were still in the shirt and tie. I can imagine. Ah, yeah, yeah, hmm yeah. You look like you were in fantastic form. You had incredible pace. Yeah, you had incredible pace for sure. Yeah, right. Oh, magnificent. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Right, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a bit of a heartbreak when you think about it.
It's
been a
been a long
fantastic
season. It's been a long season, but it's been a
Yeah.
fantastic season. There's been some superb racing. It was great to see that tonight we still had a battle on our hands for the constructors. Obviously, the way that went
brilliant.
in the end, with my memory forgetting that reserves don't get constructors points, it was actually a really good final few laps for me getting to commentate on it, having forgotten that the reserve wouldn't score points. But yeah, what a fantastic season, a long season, an arduous season, and that season 8 come to a close, of course. Next season, you looking to season 19, looking to go up into tier 2?
Do you know, I am very excited for that. I mean, I really, really hope if I cook enough in the time trials.
Yeah.
I really hope I can progress to tier 2 and challenge for something there. Do you know that would be a really good progress from being in the lowest tier of the WOR at one stage?
And it's all about progression. The journey of league racing is about practice, development, progression, all those good things. And good things come to those who put the work in, whether it be in time trials to try and learn tracks, whether it be in race conditions. You know, those are the things that get drivers to be better and progress up those.
You say that. That's just reminded me. This is one of my first races. This probably explains why I did very bad in the dry. I came in to the race with about 4 laps of dry practice in race conditions.
Yeah.
And that 4 laps was because I was doing a qualifying session earlier today.
Right.
I had to go for dinner, rejoin back, tires on 24 degrees Celsius on the mediums. So I had 4 laps of practice in the dry, in the race conditions, was just warming up the tires for fun.
Yeah.
So, admittedly, I should have done a lot more dry practice and felt how the car would have been predictable a bit more. Maybe I would have saved the race, do you know?
Yeah.
But, I mean, I've not done a race in Japan in a long time as well, so, I mean, it feels... Still P2, I'm not going to really complain about P2. P2's P2. In the end, I've done everything I wanted to do, apart from be a position ahead, really. So, I mean, do you know, I shouldn't be really this mad, but there's steps for progression, definitely, in that. Still, I mean, in everything is in progress.
That's exactly what it's all about. It has been a wonderful season. It doesn't look like we're going to get anybody in to interview tonight, so we'll call it there, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to say thank you to all the drivers who've participated this season, all the co-commentators that I've had, the guys that have stood in for me when I haven't been able to make it. We did see Papaya ruling last week, of course. This week, it's Ferrari who gallop off into the distance. The prancing horse claims the constructor's title. And that's it for another season in Tier 3. Don't forget that we've got Tiers 1 and 2 console driving tomorrow night. And I'm sure there are various other things happening across WOR in the closed season. If you are not part of this wonderful community, make sure you get yourselves in, get yourself signed up for next season. And if you're lucky, you'll have me commentating on your racing. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much. Niall, thank you so much for all your encouragement to me in the comments box this season. It's massively appreciated.
Yeah. It's a really good season. Really good commentary, Andy. I mean, the entire season, even when you weren't there, I mean, just really brilliant.
Well, let's hope we get another gig next year. I'm not guaranteed a spot, so we'll have to keep going and working and progressing and practicing ourselves as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. That's it from me. That's it from WR Tier 3 for Season 18. That was Suzuka, and that was the prancing horse galloping off to victory.